All right, guys, really important story about propaganda, the manufacture of consent, foreign policy. Could not be a better example early in this new year of how monetization policy on large platforms like YouTube can actually help the right beat the drums towards war. So it's actually interesting that it's happening so early in the new year. Very often in the new year, monetization goes down because a lot of advertisers spent a lot of their money in the fourth quarter of the previous year. And often in the first and second quarter, advertisers are more cautious with their budgets. They want to make sure that they save ad money for later in 2020. So quick recap, a lot of creators like the David Pakman Show put our videos on YouTube. We make money when people watch the YouTube videos and advertisements play. And the primary way we make money is that an ad plays before our video clip. People watch the ad, we get paid, then our clip starts, everybody's sort of happy. There are guidelines for what is monetizable. You can't do videos about certain things and run ads on them because they are not considered brand safe. And the way it was supposed to work was, overt racism, violent and gory videos, fight videos. There were things that weren't monetizable and they basically made sense. But over the last 18 months, this has come to really impact news and politics channels. I have had conversations with YouTube employees who have told me, for example, anything on abortion is not monetizable. Now, it's not a hard and fast rule in practice. There are many videos on YouTube about abortion that are monetized. Maybe they refer to abortion only tangentially. Maybe they're super clean in their language. Maybe the YouTube algorithm just missed it and allowed ads to run. But in principle, videos about abortion are not brand safe on YouTube, by and large. Another example, there's someone prominent that died recently, officially by suicide, but some people don't believe that this person died by suicide. If you talk about that person, I've been told by YouTube, the video is non-monetizable. Even if you reference the person's name, absent any details about why they are prominent, I think people know who I'm talking about. If you mention that person's name, the video can't be monetized. Sometimes things slip through, but this is at least the policy that I've been told. Many of you can probably tell where I'm going with this. We now have one of the major stories of the last many years, which is that our president is starting to barrel towards a misguided and completely backwards war against Iran. This content is basically not monetizable on YouTube. And that is a soft way, it's an indirect way in which demonetization can influence the manufacture of consent for war with Iran, and by virtue and extension of that, can influence American foreign policy. Every day, every news channel on YouTube, corporate ones like CNN and Fox, independent ones like us and many others, we decide what is worthy of coverage that day. Today's show is mostly Iran because we might be going to war again in another incorrect, misguided war for political benefit. We have to cover it. It's huge. But most of these clips are demonetized because they refer to a current military conflict, which is one of those areas that is vaguely identified by YouTube as not monetizable. Now, I know that some of you will see ads on some of the clips on our channel and on others. There are clips that are slipping through, and we never really know why one is monetized and another is not. The algorithm is opaque. It doesn't work perfectly. But if you are CNN, you can either just have a different ad deal on YouTube where you can monetize everything. We don't have that. We don't have that privilege. But if you're as big as CNN or as big as Fox News, you're so big that YouTube is a small piece of your revenue and you don't care. So CNN and Fox News and other corporate media, they can cover the run up to possible war with Iran with no serious negative repercussions because they don't depend on YouTube revenue. With us, when we cover what's going on with Iran, we lose financially. Again, if the algorithm catches us, it's still early in the Iran thing, and there are videos that are getting through and being monetized. But I've talked to other creators who say, I'm getting a lot of Iran stuff demonetized. But every single day, we get closer to it being policy where YouTube says advertisers don't want to touch the Iran war, as it may one day be. If you talk about Iran, much like for a while, if you talked about Syria, you get demonetized. So it puts creators in the position of saying, do I want to cover the right stuff today, which is Iran, or do I want to make money so I can pay staff and connectivity and studio rent. We have some other revenue sources. So my plan is to do all of the Iran coverage that I believe makes sense. And right now it's a hell of a lot, but we are going to take a hit. Other shows may be less diversified in terms of revenue. They may not be able to do all the Iran coverage they think is proper and remain viable. And this is how foreign policy gets influenced. This is how consent is manufactured. Some of the strongest anti-war in Iran voices are independent voices who are increasingly going to be unable to make money putting out their content, which will influence at least some of these voices to say, you know what, I've got to talk about something else. Instead of doing an hour on Iran, I'll do 15 minutes on Iran and 45 minutes about other stuff. This is part of the process of manufacturing consent. YouTube is not saying, to be clear, let's demonetize Iran content so that we have fewer anti-war voices, so that we go to war with Iran. That's not YouTube's priority. It's simply money for them. But it has the effect of limiting independent anti-war voices so that the predominant ones remain corporate voices, many of which basically just cheerlead the military-industrial complex and the foreign policy apparatus that Donald Trump represents. So when I say, hey, you should really fund shows that you like directly, get a membership at joinpakman.com for a few bucks, I'm literally saying to you, the system in place disincentivizes shows like ours and others from covering the insanity of the beating of drums towards war with Iran that are increasingly being hit. When you sign up, you were saying, cover what matters, not what's monetizable. That's my position on this. That's my place in this. So this is serious stuff, and it matters hugely. This is one of the ways a manufactured this is one of the ways that you see consent manufactured in media. It limits information that is vital to people's decision making. If the average person who's busy living their life wants to decide, what is it that should happen with Iran? Should I be writing my member of Congress saying, let's go get him? Or should I be writing my member of Congress saying, I will vote you out if you don't get in the way of Donald Trump doing this? If you have an entire wing of anti-war voices that just lose money if they talk about it, you are putting an obstacle there to present people with both sides of the story, including, I would argue, the important side, which is we're doing this again. We just did this with Iraq in 2002 and 2003. We're really going to do the same thing on corporate media with the same people, Ari Fleischer, and who else was it that I saw being interviewed? Other people that were saying we've got the evidence and Saddam is linked to 9/11 and he's got uranium and all this stuff. Didn't have it. The WMDs weren't there. The same people are being brought on to manufacture consent. And the soft way to disincentivize the anti-war voices, MSNBC fired Phil Donahue when he was the only anti-war voice in 2002, 2003 against Iraq. Now it can be done in a very different way, just by demonetizing people who want to talk about this conflict. We'll keep talking about it. My ask is support us directly by grabbing a membership at joinpakman.com.